Today on Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, we're talking about finding joy. How much delight do you have in your life? What's the secret to finding pleasure? Do you need an infusion of happiness in your life? Learn how to find your joy in the world as we wrap up our month focusing on spring cleaning. Do you control your clutter, or does your clutter control you? On Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, we'll teach you awareness as well as action steps to create change in your life. Come on, let's get started. Today's episode was inspired. I am doing a book club, and I'm really bummed out because we're going to be moving out of the zip code and area where I am, and I had just started this book club and really enjoy it. Anyway, at our meeting that I hosted, one of the women shared how she's found this joy playing something called pickleball. Never heard of it, but she said, I'm a serious person, and so it's a challenge for me to find joy, and wanted to raise my hand because I'm kind of serious, German in me, and one of the things I've worked on in my life is finding more joy. And, it's interesting. I haven't read Marie Kondo's book or watched her show. Not a fan of this show. I'm not a fan of hoarders, anything like that, because I just feel that in 48 minutes, you don't see the behind the scenes things. And it for me, sets up unrealistic expectations. I know that her stuff has supported a lot of people. I mentioned, I think briefly on another show, I saw her on Stephen Colbert. I love her energy. I think she has just lovely, wonderful goodness energy. And she's about gratitude. And she might use a different word, but it was Japanese. She was speaking in Japanese and had a translator. And, and had Stephen invited him to thank, I don't remember what it was. They got on the floor and she was in a little, what I'd call prayer position and kind of bowed a little bit. Anyway, love her energy and think she's great. My frustration is that everyone jumps on the bandwagon and it might not necessarily work for them. I'm thrilled she's helped a bunch of people, but it just doesn't work for everyone. I don't know if I can hold something and say, does it spark joy? I'm downsizing as I record it. And that's my only concern, that people do that and then regret it later, whatever. But I love the premise of joy. And what's interesting to me is I believe in the ether and the universe. There are all these ideas that we can gain. And the month that she came to America is the month launched my podcast, which it's for a more joyful and fulfilling life. And I've tweaked it to have awareness and action because that's a big part of what I do when we redid the placard for the show. But I thought, there's something the universe wants to get out there in a big way. And she obviously has done it much bigger than I have, but I just find it fascinating that seems to be a message, is to find joy. And so thinking about her effort to push joy, hearing someone who's serious like myself say, I'm trying to find joy in my life. And as I continue to unplug more, as I continue to simplify my life, it's what is going to bring me joy. What is joy? Joy is how you define it. I would probably add my dad's caveat. And when I told him, you know what, I don't want to go to law school. And that was really hard for me because I thought he was going to be disappointed in me. And what he said to me was, I'll be proud of you no matter what you do. You need to do what's best for you. And as long as what you do is ethical, moral, and legal, I'll support you. And I think that that's a fairly easy standard for the majority of us to meet. So if, screaming at people brings you joy, I don't think that meets that standard. But it's a pretty broad standard. In all seriousness, I sometimes feel that there is this pressure to have our definition of joy match what is popular in our culture or what our favorite Instagrammer is doing or the latest craze. I don't get like the ice bucket challenge. I get that because that was raising money for charity, which is wonderful. But I think sometimes, especially when I was younger, partying was supposed to be bringing joy, and I never was comfortable drinking, and I enjoy the occasional margarita for sure, frozen. And so I'm going to encourage you, come up with your definition of joy. What makes you feel joyful? I think I mentioned this on another episode, and I've been recording these over a few days, so I apologize. I try not to repeat myself, but something's in the forefront important. But waking up in the morning and having Tony there, my husband, and the cats, Athena's staring at me as I record this. Athena and Joey and Antonio, and of all of us in the bed together, or all of us together, Antonio usually likes to sleep on the side next to me on the floor. But I really find joy in those moments. It reminds me I'm loved. It reminds me I have a warm bed. It reminds me I have unconditional love from 3 cats and 1 human. And it really does bring me joy. So again, figure out what joy means to you and really take the time. Like joy, I love to read. And I'm reading some really good books now. Someone at the library said, "Hey, what are you reading?" I always like to ask that. Introduced me to 2 new authors. One, I was like, but the other one I'm really liking. He's a detective in Italy, and it's very interesting. That brings me joy to read. How do we find joy? We're not taught this in high school. We're taught reading, writing, and arithmetic. I did pretty well in the reading and writing, arithmetic, not so much. Embrace your life as it is now, right? Because when we talk about suffering, it's because we want things to change. We don't like how our life is right now. I'm downsizing, guys, in 3 more days. We're moving stuff into storage so we can get the carpets clean, get the house staged, get it ready to roll. And I just have to embrace the craziness. You know what? I feel like I'm going to lose my mind. Okay, just embrace it and embrace that joy that's coming with the new house. But how can you embrace life right now? This is like the 5th day of rain, I think, and we've got a couple more coming. I'm embracing the rain because it feeds the trees, it feeds the rivers. How can you embrace it? Appreciate all you have. Like those moments in the morning, because I appreciate those so much, they really bring me joy. And when I'm able to focus on life as it is right now and what I have, I'm joyful. When I focus on what I don't have or what didn't work out or in the past or whatever, I lose my joy when that happens. So take a moment right now. Say something that you appreciate about your life. I'll share a couple with you. I appreciate my husband. I appreciate the cats. I appreciate that we got our house measured. The realtor chose to do that. That's something she do. We gained 150 square feet. The city didn't have the correct plans. I'm grateful for that. Add joy into your daily routine. And you know what? If you have to schedule it, that's A-okay. To me, that doesn't take away from anything. Or you can have a reminder. Mark, who was on about distraction, talks about how he has these reminders on his phone. Remind yourself to have joy. Maybe it is simply being outside and letting the sun shine on your face for 5 minutes. How great does that feel? Beautiful spring day, the sun on your face. Maybe you luck out and get a nice breeze. How can you begin to add joy daily? Take care of yourself. When you take care of yourself and you feel good about yourself, it's easier to find joy every day. It's easier to find the pleasures and the delight of what you've got going on. How do you need to take care of yourself? Do you need to exercise? Get some movement or stretching going? Do you need to eat better? Do you need to find some quiet time? Do you need to say no? What is it that you need to do to take care of yourself? Release your worry. Remember, we can't have 2 opposing thoughts going on at the same time. So if you are anxious or worried, which that usually means you're in the future, bring it back to the present moment. But you can't worry and have joy at the same time. It's just impossible. What can you do to release your worry? Becoming more present, having gratitude. And if you need to express your worries, do that, but then that can help you release it. Okay, I've just got to dump this on someone, and then I can release it. Raise your vibration. Everything is energy. You know, when your vibrations raised, you are going to attract more joy in your life. It will make you joyful. So what can you do to raise it? Gratitude, of course, doing something kind for someone else, sending love. I can't remember if I shared one of the things that I'm doing this year, and I actually saw something, I think, on Facebook that inspired me to do it. So almost done. We're almost done at the end of the month here. But what I've been doing is choosing someone to send love to every day. Not a big project, just a minute or two. I'm sending love, light, good prayers, good healing, whatever they need at this moment, just this concentrated effort. So it's one person daily for a month. And my goal at the end of the year is to be able to do that to people I don't like, who I have believed have not done me right. I get it, guys. I believe in karma and choices and to learn these lessons. And I'm human. So that's something I'm working on. When I'm able to release, when I'm able to forgive, that naturally raises my vibration. Choose to be joyful. We always have a choice. Make a conscious decision to be joyful. You can be sorrow. You can stay in feeling like a victim. You're always choosing that, whether or not you're aware of it, but choose to be joyful. Judge less, love more. I think I'm going to repeat this a lot this year because of all the judgy McJudge faces I see. Am I judge free? Absolutely not. But I don't do it all the time, and I don't publicly shame people. How can you judge less? Remember, when you judge another, you judge yourself. And if you're spending all this time judging other people, who do you think's judging you? Do you think you're going to attract more judgment into your life? When you're in that mode, that's not a joyful place to be when you're being judged or you're judging others. Work on judging less. Again, focus on you, what needs to improve, what needs to change, instead of putting the focus on others. Hang out with joyful people. Who do you know? I have a couple people that I think just first of all, their laugh makes me laugh. Do you have someone like that in your life that you just crack up? Or if you don't, go listen to baby videos, baby laughing videos. I mean, those you just like, oh my gosh, you cannot help but laugh. Hang out with people who bring you joy. And you might say, okay, you know what? I live in a rural area, not an option. Okay, well then, who can you find on YouTube? I mean, there are tons of people on YouTube. Who can you find that brings you joy? Maybe you listen to a book on audio and that person just has a joyful voice, or you read a joyful book. There are lots of ways to incorporate people in your life who bring you joy. Be open to discovery. When you are able to say, okay, be open, learn something, joy tends to come in your life. At least that's been my experience. Instead of being kind of in this focus of doing the same thing all the time, having the same group of friends, what can you discover? Maybe you take a class on a whim and you discover you have a passion or you have a talent that you didn't know because you were open to it. You were open to trying something new and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And if it's a complete failure, oh well. But that you never know how life's going to unfold. So maybe you have a class and you meet a new BFF or you meet someone that you might date. Joy is around and it wants to be found. It wants to come into your life. So how can you be open to discovery? What can you learn that's new? What can you read? How can you incorporate that into your life? Do you not have a professional organizer in your area? Have you struggled to find a good fit with a professional? Are you unable to find someone that has a particular skill set that you need? With today's technology, Julie Coraccio can assist you. She offers virtual organization, and you can learn more at reawakenyourbrilliance.com. Activate your senses. The bubble bath is my woman cave. That's one thing I love about having a bubble bath. It is a nightly ritual for me because I am totally present. I feel the warm water. I feel the bubbles. I smell that fragrance of the bubble bath. I take care of myself, activate my senses when I'm using soap or scrub or whatever, being fully present in my body. How can you do that? Your senses, like smelling flowers with springtime. I love the smell of fresh cut grass, or my favorite earth smell. Smelling, seeing, what can be a feast for your eyes? Or music or hearing. What is music that brings you joy, that just, you're like I love Vivaldi. There are some classical music that I like, or I'm a folk person. I like folk music. I like 80s music, like 70s. What can you do? How can you activate your senses to increase your joy? Dream. When's the last time that you just daydreamed? You just thought about, what would it be like to do whatever? I'll share one of my crazy dreams. The red carpet's not quite the accurate term, but it's the best I have. I have a dream one day that I'm going to be in some goddess gown. I'm going to have my hair and makeup done and just some fancy pantsy dress that I get to wear, shoes and all that, where I just feel like a movie star. I think of something chiffon. I don't know why. I like that fabric. And so that's something that I'll just spend dreaming, how great would it be? Again, walking the red carpet, it's not so much being photographed, but just being completely elegant, completely beautiful, and in an outfit that I just feel like $1 million in. Sometimes daydream about that, just to give me a little pep or perk up in the afternoon or if I'm feeling bummed out. What could you dream about? Follow your intuition. Your intuition, your gut feeling, your instincts are there to guide you. And they want you to be happy. They want you to be joyful. They're there for a reason. And I've mentioned this on the show before, that when I follow my intuition, I'm in good shape. When I don't, not so much. Sometimes gets me in trouble. And your intuition is leading you into corridors and places where you might not have expected. So that's, again, being open and being open to your intuition. Okay, what do I need? And start out, what should I eat for breakfast? And sit down and listen to your intuition, just in little ways. What route should I take to work today? And that allows you to build upon it. But there's a lot out there to discover. How can you share your joy? When you share your joy, you allow others and you give them permission to share their joy. You lift the vibration of yourself, people around you, your neighborhood community, and ultimately the world. I wanted to share this. I found this from Psychology Today, the science behind sharing joy. And I know sometimes people are like, you might be a little woo-woo, but they've done studies on this. And they've shown that making daily lists, a daily gratitude list, and what's that doing is it's drawing your attention to the positive experiences. It improves your psychological and physical health. It improves your ability to connect with others, boost altruistic tendencies, makes you optimistic and happier, therefore more joyful. It decreases your envy and materialism and improves the health for people with physical ailments. And according to this article, it was a study by a guy named Lambert. It extended the research to show that verbally expressing your gratitude to people close to you helps and increases your well-being above and beyond simply feeling or writing down the gratitude. Now, I'm going to add a caveat there. I talk about great to express, great to write down. Feeling is really where it's at. So I disagree a little bit with the study, but I just wanted to share this because this is scientific information. So for you that are science-based, this is just another, when I talk about everything is energy and the gratitude and all this, this is just a confirmation from a scientific study. They found that people who habitually tend to talk to people they're close with about all the good stuff going on in their lives tend to feel happier, and I'd say more joyful, obviously, and more satisfied with life. They also found that more that people shared their joy with someone, the happier and more satisfied they were on that particular day. So that's why I'm going to encourage you. So how do you share your joy? Share your gifts with the world. That's why I want you to clear your clutter. My great-grandfather was a janitor, and he shared his joy every day. He shared his joy by being a good person, by doing an awesome job, and by respecting others, because that's what he believed. I think it's a gift to be able to do a good cleaning job. I'm an okay cleaner. Could I be better? Probably. But I feel sometimes there's this, oh, we have to be this celebrity or this big important person. No, everyone is the same. We're equally important. No one person is more important than another. We're all part of the oneness. So whatever you're doing this moment right now, and you might say, well, Julie, you know what? I would really like to be a painter. Okay, and I'm not painting right now. I'm an administrative assistant. Well, one, you can still share your gifts with the world. You can share your paintings on Instagram or other social media. You can make it a side gig and share your paintings until you're able to do it full time. And you can share your gifts by doing a good job at whatever current job you're doing. And share your gifts by being helpful to someone, by supporting someone. You know, what I like to say is when I support my clients, it allows them to share their gifts with the world. So if you're supporting someone who's sharing their gifts with the world, you are sharing your gift. Mentor someone. You know, a lot of people out there that could use a good mentor. I really believe that for some people who've had challenges in life, there can definitely be that fork in the road where a mentor can make a complete difference in the trajectory of their life. So if you feel moved to, share your joy by being a positive influence on another person. Be generous. And again, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean money. It can mean time, volunteering somewhere, hanging out with the cats or the dogs, always in need of more help. You can be generous with your money if that's something that you have a lot of. It's my fantasy if we get $1 bazillion that I want to help a lot of the smaller. We have so many great places here in Raleigh, and I know they exist throughout the world that are the real heroes, helping animals or helping people. Lots of people doing amazing things. So how can you share your generosity? And you know, I say this and it's so true. When I give back, I feel like the person or the recipient gets a short end of the stick because it feels so good. Be kind. Simply be kind. And I'm going to bring this up because I wrote it as a note for, I don't know when I'm going to air this podcast, but just when something clicks. So I'm literally preparing for a podcast interview. I'm going to be interviewed on a business podcast, and it's about women business owners. And they gave me the questions in advance. And so I'm like, oh, I'm going to take a break. And I have a women's group here that sometimes asks for resources. And anyway, so this woman was dealing with Child Protective Services. And this woman writes this comment about, you know, maybe you should worry about your grammar and you'd accomplish something to that extent. And I wrote, you know, be kind. Was that necessary? Something, again, this is not verbatim. And by the way, you forgot a period at the end of your sentence. And she was like, that's on purpose. And I just was like, it's unnecessary. And the woman wrote back and said something. And I said, I just feel bad. I felt like someone was kicking you when you were down. She could have made the same point, which would have been a point in my view, a point well taken. You know, I just want to share a perspective or thought with you that perhaps people aren't responding because it's hard to read. You know, it was how she approached it. It was meant to be snarky, and I really don't think you could have taken it any other way. So she didn't need to do it. It was completely unnecessary. And she chose in that moment not to be kind. So they're all throughout the day, there are moments where we can choose to be kind or not. We can choose to let someone in and traffic or not. So throughout your day, how can you be kind? Be cheerful. Now, you don't have to be Pollyannish about this, but have a smile. When you smile, I found at least when you smile at someone, 95% of the time, people smile back. And that's kind of adds a little step in their day. Someone smiled at me. That feels really good. So how can you be cheerful? Have a compliment for someone, have a smile on your face. Again, it doesn't take anything big. And what my father taught me growing up was when someone asks you how you're feeling, say, I'm excellent. And I do that a lot. And he said, and if you aren't excellent, you'll soon become feeling excellent. And I can't tell you how many times people said to me, wow. Usually when I ask someone that question, they tell me they complain and everything that's going on in their life. And it was fascinating how often I hear that. Share your joy by supporting someone. Maybe you buy a book that someone's written. Maybe you write a podcast review. Maybe you hire someone. There are lots of ways you can do this. Maybe it's helping put back a grocery cart. Again, it doesn't have to be something major, but when people are sharing their gifts, support them. Give them a good job. Give them a pat on the back. Share something with a child. I'm really fortunate that I have 2 very groovy nieces and a nephew, and hanging out, especially my nephew Max, who loves life every day, and or watching my niece Emma play hockey, or haven't unfortunately been able to see my older niece Claire do a play yet, because they're always when we can't get back to Wheeling. They're such great kids, and they bring me such great joy. Sent my old hockey jersey. We're downsizing. I had one hockey jersey, and they used to make them. Guys, this has lasted just a few years. I think this was when I was in high school in 9th grade. And I kept on Cybert has Waha for the Wheeling thing. And I sent it to Emma, and with a note saying, we have this joke, Juji-liciousness. And I said, now it's time to put some Emma-liciousness in the jersey. And I said, but if you don't want this, then you give it away or you donate it. Like, I don't burden people with clutter. And that's really important to tell her that. And my mom called me, she said, someone's here and wants to thank you. She absolutely loved it. And I have to tell you, that made me feel really good. Again, if she wouldn't have liked it, it would have been okay. But sharing that made her really happy and made me equally as joyful. So how can you share something with a child? Take actions from today's podcast. Define what joy means to you. Discover what brings you pleasure. Incorporate happiness into your life on a regular basis. Share your joy with others. Next month, we're focusing on downsizing. Go out, clear your clutter to create the life you choose, deserve, and desire. When you clear your clutter, you can share your gifts with the world. Sign up for our free newsletter at reawakenyourbrilliance.com. If you've enjoyed Clear Your Clutter Inside and Out, please rate, review, and share us.